Well, welcome everyone. It's New Balance indoor track and field meet, part of the World Athletics Gold Series for indoor leading up to their championship. And obviously, there's a World Indoor Championship this year. Indoors for me is something that's been spectacular over these past few years. And World Athletics, in particular, especially on the Gold Tour, has up the prize money. So it makes it important for many athletes to come out and want to participate. It's no longer a cold weather area environment. It's for everybody. And for some athletes who sometimes don't even feature particularly well on the outdoor stage, this is a chance for them as well. First thing on the track will be the 60-meter hurdles. But before we get to that, there's been some interesting results so far. I got to be honest with you. I'm super excited for this result, which I didn't get to see, but the youngster from Australia there, Cameron Myers, a national record, world leading time, meet record there, 7 minutes, 27:56:57, obliterating the field, it would appear, because Corsican there from Ireland coming in second place. I should get that on the screen really quickly there, just to show that. But we'll see. Appreciate all the people coming through, but yeah, this is your place. But to be honest with you, 7:27, Maya's been running really well this year. That is outrageous running. I wish we were able to see it. I didn't get to see that result earlier today, to be honest. So in terms of watching the race, but that's up there. I mean, that's pretty good. It doesn't rank in the all-time list, obviously, but it is special. It is special, especially given that it's the kid. All right, we're gonna watch some 60 meters, then I'll get back to everybody here and see what's going on. I see objectivity there. Wendigo said he has his peacock on mute. The same here. I just got it. I just got it on screen. Just saying Megan here from Jamaica. Daniel Williams, also Devon Charlton, the world record holder in the mix as well. Christina Clemens, Gabby Cunningham. This should be a good race. We saw Daniel, I think, was it last week or the week before, looking really decent there in a kind of rusty opener for her. But, it's an indoor season. What can we make of it? Yeah. So it looks like a clean start there. Tapper left in the back, or Megan left in the back, rather. But Daniel Williams already taking down the world record holder. Williams wins this in a 7.87 as a flash time. That is pretty good there. Sub-statement run there from world leading time as well, from the two-time world champion out of Jamaica. 3 women going sub-8. This is pretty good running there. Charlton had a good start, but Daniel Williams there clearly opening up on her. Let me see it again. A little bit of a late get up there from Daniel, but I'm not sure if that impacting anybody. Lovely running there from Williams. 7:87 world leading time. That's nothing to. That's pretty good running. 7:92 from Charlton. Not bad either. Anything under 8 seconds is really good running. Obviously, you want to see something like 7:8 is pretty good. Obviously, the world record is 7:6, so pretty good running there. Christina Clemens also running 7:94. Really good running. Appreciate everybody coming on, and thank you for liking the video. It's watch along as usual. As you know, the indoor season, I will be watching it anyway, so I appreciate the company. Let's get the comments rolling. Your thoughts on what's going on so far today. But you gotta like what you see from Daniel Williams here. So off year, nothing important. Elder stateswoman, you would think about it in terms of the Jamaican hurdling. Very successful. Been around for a long time. Megan Simmons finishing down the pack. New coaching setup there for Simmons. over in Kentucky at the moment. Not a particularly good run from her. Not quite sure what happened. It looked like she got left in the blocks. Coming up next will be the men's 60-meter hurdles, and that should be a good run as well. We're looking at high quality field. Daniel Roberts, Olympic medalist, the world champion over 110-meter hurdles this year. Cordell Tinch. Beard also has a pretty good time. I think he's third fastest for the year so far. And yeah, we'll get to see the state of the hurdles right now. It's too early to say anything. We really don't know. No Grant Holloway in this event, but it should be competitive running. Yeah. Wendigo 314 says Daniel always finds a way to surprise me. I mean, you gotta explore some more. Let me know. But I don't think I'm surprised anymore by Williams. I think she is a phenomenal athlete in terms of her mental ability to show up. Also to show up when things don't go our way. She's had obstacles. We've seen it a lot in the Olympic years that crashing out and didn't make the final. Looking good and things don't happen. And it's part of the hurdling structure, obviously. You don't always get it right. But when you look at her career and the fact that she's still around and doing the things that she loves, it's a great season. I'm not sure what the targets are. I think Leighton Levy had earlier this year this talked to her coach there down in Clemson, and I don't think they have targets yet, right? Because it's not quite sure what you want to do in a year like this. There's the Commonwealth Games for an athlete like her. I'm not sure she wants to go to there. Clearly, there's the Ultimate Championships later this year. That would be a fantastic place for her if she can get if she decides to go there. You pick and choose this year. A number of athletes are thinking about what do you do for a year like this. I'm not quite sure what Danielle could do. Can she go to LA? That might be a stretch, but there's a World Championships next year, so perhaps she pushes to get to that point. You just never know, right? But top class athletes, of course. Yeah, we're expecting some good running. I would imagine we'll probably get a world lead this evening. I'm not sure, but so far, Jakob Szymanski 7:48 is the world lead for 60-meter hurdles, unless it changed from when I did my research earlier today. Just checking because there's a number of meets happening around the world. I think some meets going on in Europe as well. So perhaps someone has gone quicker, but this should be a good race. Want to see what Cordell Tinch does. He had a fabulous season last year, but Trey Cunningham should run well too. He ran well last year, just didn't quite make it the way he wanted to. He was good on the Grand Slam, good on the 100 flat as well. Collected some money, which I suspect he didn't get paid for. But yeah, it should be good. This big gold championship today. Next week? Is it next week we get the Milrose Games? So some big meets in back-to-back weeks. And then we'll get a few things happening in Europe. And by the time you look, it's March and we're in a World Indoor Championship. So just Cordell Tinch there on the screen. A few things happening around. Let's see, average Joe going in the house. Let's see what he's saying. Does the Flamingo have a chance to win another global goal, or will Cordell reign? Well, it's a very hard question to answer. You never want to count out Grant Holloway. Last year was a season that we just couldn't, you can't judge him, right? In the sense that he struggled with a lot of injury from the indoor season. We didn't really see him until late, and he just couldn't defend his title at the World Championships. Clearly, he's hurt. I believe Grant is capable of getting back to his best if he's not hurt, right? At least I would give him the ability to show that to us, right? He is a special talent. He's 28. He'll be 29 this year. 30 next year. I mean, I think he's still capable of getting. If he can get back to his levels, he may be able to get back on top of the podium or get back into the medals. But the rest of the world are catching up. But he's had a phenomenal career just outside the world record. Obviously, got the Olympic title, the greatest over, I think, the first 8 hurdles. So we'll have to see, but I wouldn't write him off yet. I don't know if he can go to LA and do something. That's a different story. But he would be still what 31ish. So it's not out of the question. I would say. All right, let's see here. World lead is 748. Let's see what we get. It's a really good start there from Trey Cunningham. Cordell Tinch really in the back. Beard also running well. Cunningham's going to win this. Flash time 749. Rounded down to 748. Equaling the world lead. Schulman there coming in second. 751. Britt 754. Beard 758. Tinch and Roberts, finishing way down the track there in 762. So not a particularly great run from the Olympic silver medalist or the world champion over 110-meter hurdles. Really got out slow there, Cordell Tinch. Didn't look like himself, but steady kind of hurdling from Trey Cunningham. Good dip too, but didn't really need a dip. He was good space behind him and the other athletes. Yeah, interesting run. I'm surprised by Tinch and Roberts. I think it's a kind of warm-up run. I want to say again, it's really hard to make any big connections with this and what you might see at the end of the season. Yeah, the Americans in particular have no championship to think about this year, outside of those who've qualified for the Ultimate Championships in Budapest, and maybe those who would try to get a spot there. So it's a kind of experimental season for some of these athletes. For a lot of these athletes, it's just trying to get money, run. For some, they'll tinker with a few things. We've already seen athletes decide to take the year off strategically on the women's side in particular. Beatrice Trebet out for the season with maternity leave. So congratulations to her. We saw, was it a couple of days ago, Sydney McLaughlin Levrone also saying she is pregnant, and so she'll be out for the season. I suspect you won't see Sydney until probably 28. So we'll yeah, athletes are making interesting decisions. I think I saw a post earlier from Noah Lyles as well, saying he's not quite sure what to do with the season. So I think for the very elite athletes, the big ones, the ones with high quality sponsorship outside the track, and those who command fairly good money on the circuit, they will just tinker and rest and do different things in preparation for World Championships next year in China, and obviously the Olympic Games in 2028 in LA. Average Joe says Cordell looked rusty. I agree. So did Daniel Roberts. Even Trey looked a little bit rusty. I think his first race for the season, I can't recall seeing him run before that. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Dynamic 416, how you doing? Good run for Trey. He had the worst luck the past 3 U.S. championships. I would agree. That's tough on him. He 13 flat a couple times last year as well. Looks spectacular over the Grand Slam track, and it didn't work out for him. There is no spoon 547. If I'm saying that correctly. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you. What a sweater you're commenting on. Yeah, it's a brand you can support. Yeah, this is an interesting thing. A couple years ago, we had co-sponsor. Well, there was a whole conference, a sneaker conference that we were part of, and the organizers pretty much try to figure out an interesting brand. So I guess it's a play on the W.E.D. Du Bois thing, as many people would know, and yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that was good. I think I don't know if my producer can put up the what was it, the 3,000 meters that occurred earlier, the men's final. So I just wanted to kind of show that. I'm not sure if we did, but again, to to highlight the result there, 7:27:57 from Myers. This kid has been outstanding all season. Talking about outstanding seasons as well. The New Zealand earlier today again, uh, going out and doing something special in terms of uh, breaking another mile, 16, the under 16 mile again. So Ruth. So there's a lot of interesting youngsters running, and we'll have to see, right? I think Cooper Luckenhouse also ran today in New York, running a 1:45:23 in in the 800 meters. So good stuff happening. Yeah, I haven't seen the Sam Root run yet. I've only seen a clip of it, but he ran at 3:53:83 today, and he's just 16. Last year was spectacular. I think we did a little short video on him last year, and he's moving from strength to strength. So we'll see what we get from him again. But the next thing's gonna be the men's 600 meters. This should be good. Bryce Hopland in the mix, Donovan Brazier, probably the athlete who, what I would have to say, the biggest comeback of the season, or one of the biggest comebacks we've seen. Mac Phillips also there from Ireland, special athlete there too in his own right for the Irish. So this should be a good run here over 600 meters. We'll see who takes it out. Yeah, but it's always good to see Donovan Brazier back. Let me get back to the comments here. Objectivity says new fans think the athletes should run every year. They don't know the body needs rest to recover. Yeah, that's 100%, especially especially in the demanding. All track and field events are demanding. I want to clarify that, but especially like when you think about the sprints and all of those things that put extra pounding on the body, how you recover from that. Yeah, you need some rest, and we've had for many athletes interesting how many years back-to-back championships starting from 21, right? The Olympic Games was pushed to 21. That meant everything got pushed back. And just so many big events. And at some point, your body needs just to take a toll. So they train and they'll have fun, for some of them. And I think that's important. Uh, Dynamics is also, I didn't realize, congrats on the 10K sub. Yeah, we appreciate you and everybody who's part of the family, coming through and supporting. So yeah, 2025 25K by end of 26. Yeah, let's get that on. I think we endorse that wholeheartedly. And average Joe Brazzo's a bit disappointing at Worlds given his USA performance. But I think last year Brazzo was just running on everything, just worked well in the end. No one predicted that. I don't think you could have predicted what Donovan Brazzo did there. Who's this Yanyori here that's like pushing out? Is he a rabbit or something? In the Miller out there for like 22:71 for the first 200 meters. That's ridiculous running there, but he stepped off the track there. Miller, that is, he was the pacer. So Bryce hopping there with Yanuri there, but all these guys are bunched together. A couple laps left to go here. The Irishman now is taking control of this race. He's upright, looks really strong. Donovan Brazier looks like he's really behind. He's have to go wide in order to catch the rest. But the Irish guy's going to win this comfortable, and Brazier's going to dip ahead of Bryce Hoppel. 1 minute 16:36. That's a personal best for Mac Phillips. 1:17:20 for Brazier and 1:17:24 for Hoppel. It's not a bad run there. Not a bad run. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mac Phillips is a scary man here. Dynamic is saying he is. I'm looking at him again. Just look at the upright gait and the way in which he just surged ahead there on the stretch coming around the curve here on this 200-meter track and comfortably winning here. Comfortably winning. It looks like a guy that had a really good background season. Yeah, really good run. That's a PB for him. So he'll be around. I think we'll see him on Milrose next. I think he's on the Milrose list when I checked. Yeah. But he looks really good. He looks solid there. Uh Mac Phillips. It's really good running. I mean, it's not like pulling up trees type of running. It's not your 114s and your 113s there, but it's pretty good running for a non-championship year, I would imagine too, and for perhaps what would be his first 600 and something that's run sparingly. It's not really an event outside of uh, the kind of indoor season. All right, so next on the track will be women's 1500 meters. There, Sinclair Johnson there. I think she just switched sponsorship as well. Yeah, who else is in this mix? A couple of Ethiopians here. Well, one Ethiopian. Yeah, we'll see what we get there. But yeah, how you guys doing? You guys following all this happenings in track and field. I Interesting stuff too happening. I don't know. I'll switch from this meet and just talk quickly as well about the a few retesting. I don't know if you guys saw earlier this week. So, what's her name? Yvette Lalova there, the athlete that's not, she's been retired for a while now, I believe. I don't think she's run a race since like 2021, was provisionally suspended for a retest of a sample taken in 2016. So, AIU has provisionally suspended her. And this is the thing with how track and field is doing it. I don't know. She didn't particularly do well in 16, so I don't think it will impact anything greatly. At least I didn't look to see all the things that she would have done there. But as we all know, samples for Olympic Games are kept for 10 years and they will retest just to see if there are substances that we just didn't know about, and in this case, they tested the sample again and it was positive for, I forgot what it is again. I'll have to look it up, but she's provisionally suspended. So I suspect that if they do a B sample test or go through the things, all of her times and her results will be thrown out for whatever period of time. And she's 41 now, so she's done with the sport clearly, but it's, you never want to catch people 10 years later, but I suspect there will be some justice. Marsha Shamar is asking, what time did Trey Cunningham run? He ran a world equal in time of 7:48. We can put the results up again. That is equaling the run by Jakob Szymanski earlier this week or last week. So that's the world leading time for Cunningham. Sherwood says, how do you adequately mount a defense from 10 years ago? It's a very good question. I mean, we've seen it with the Nesta Carter situation where they had retested, and at the time, I think, yeah, it was a whole kind of interesting story there, but I don't know how you mounted a defense, to be honest with you. I think, they retest the samples, and if they catch something, I don't know how she's gonna make a serious claim for that at this time, to be honest with you. And as you're saying, what if the banned substance came from a contaminated source and she was not intentionally doping? How do you defend yourself from that? Very good question. Yeah, it is. It is an interesting. I have not looked. You've just made it interesting for me. I have to look. We probably need to reread a case or two of athletes that were retested and look at the report to see how it works, right? And what kind of defense athletes put up. I mean, I'm sure there is one, but yeah, you wouldn't have like a vial from that time. And I'm trying to think in 2016, yeah, there were the what do you call it? The I'm blanking on the name, but there's those authorized s- supplement suppliers, and if you actually take something, you have to have the batch number. So I don't know unless you have your batch number recorded and put somewhere. It's going to be a difficult sell to say that you took something from a contaminated source and if you don't have a picture of it or some kind of a record. To be honest with you, I think in a situation like this, I suspect she will. It doesn't even worth. I don't know, unless you want to keep your name. If you knew that you didn't take something and you feel like you didn't take something, maybe you want to clear your name, but it's going to be an expensive clear. You got to hire your lawyers. You have to go through the whole process. And if you want to push it all the way to court for arbitration for sport, if it doesn't work out for you, it's not a cheap thing. It is very expensive. So I don't. This is a very good question. Yeah. So women's, what is it, 15 meters, 1500 meters, be on track in a second here. Yeah. Objectively says, and do we trust the testing process 10 years later transparent? So far I think it's fine. I think what they've done is that the samples are just kept at the water approved lab. I believe those samples are the ones that are kept in Switzerland. I could be wrong on this. They may be kept elsewhere as well, but there are a few labs where your samples are kept and they're kept for random retesting. And usually it's because sometimes, look, if there's a substance that was not on the ban list at the time that you took that you competed and it subsequently gets on the ban list, it should not result in this case, unless it can be proven to be that substance that could have been like a masking agent. However, I think, yeah, but the whole notion of keeping the samples around is to protect against athletes who may have been taking things that the testers didn't know about. They were more sophisticated in terms of hiding it or so on. So that's it. But I think the samples are fine based off of how they keep them medically, keep the samples, and I guess there might be a case to argue that that might be a defense strategy that athletes may want to use, but I don't know if it's been successful, especially when you think about how these things are transported from one place to the other. It's pretty airtight in terms of getting. You have to have a mounting defense like the mash the cubicle, because those are I forgot the name of the labs that they use now, but that transport samples to one place to the next, that something went wrong in that process, and usually nothing goes wrong in that process. So it's a hard claim to make, to be honest with you. I think yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough to say whether this is a problem, but we can investigate some more for sure. 1500 meters on track now. It's already what, around 500 meters, and I missed some of it. Looks like Buffy's in the lead here. 120.90 was the 500-meter split, I think. Yeah. Morris is right there as well, and Iui there, or Iwoi from Kenya. They all bunched together. It's like a massive line in lane one here. Uh, there's an athlete there going a bit wide, but I'm not quite sure who that is. and I'm not sure where Sinclair Johnson's at the moment. I think she's moving up now into that might be fourth or third. No, fourth right now. Sorry. Yeah, got it. I forgot what's the world lead this year in 1500 meters for women. I gotta check that real quickly. I think yeah, it was Berke Highcombe from earlier this week in Stockholm, 4:02:61. So we'll see. I'm not sure. I on this pace, I'm just guessing now. I don't think we'll get a sub 4 minutes. To be honest with you, that would be outrageous right now. Let's see. Well, that could be a three. That could be a four flat pace right at the moment. Yeah, so a lot of athletes there are now like jostling for where they want to be. So a few laps to go right now. I think two left in this. The wave light. I'm not sure what the wave light is on. If it's on world, it probably is on world lead pace. So it's clearly they're clearly way behind that. I think I'm not sure what it's on. I should take that back. But the Kenyan here is making a move. Sinclair Johnson is also there as well, and the Polish athlete. All of them there. Kazmarska, I think her name is. So they're at the bell. They're pushing for it now. It's one lap at 3:32 ish. This is gonna be a bit over 4 minutes. You would think, because it's gonna be like Sinclair Johnson's also making a move to follow right behind her, but but is gonna win it. Sinclair Johnson is pushing, but she won't beat the Kenyan. 4:01:23. Not bad running. That is a good run. That's a world leading time. That's faster than the time that Berkey Highland ran earlier this week. This week, pretty good running. Where am I? Yeah, so Sinclair Johnson also personal best 4:01:30. Polish athlete there, Claudia Kazmarewska, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, 4:01:78. Sarah Billings from Australia, 4:01:79. Morris, 4:02:12. Some good running there in the end there in Boston. I think if they had pushed a little bit more on the final lap there, perhaps you could have gotten maybe something closer to four flat. It's kind of a tactical thing going on there as well. A little bit of grimace on the face there of Johnson coming across the line. I think I get back to some of these comments here. Objectivity says, in a world where everything is political, I don't trust testing 10 years later. Hey, I hear what you're saying. Sure, has there been a final ruling on Fred's case? Uh I think he got you meant his personal life one or his or his track related one. I think just recently, I think the situation he had with that incident at was it a Grand Slam incident last year? Yeah, the Miami Slam where things went a bit. There was a little bit of a tete-a-tete that involved the police. They dropped the prosecutions. The prosecutor dropped the charges, I believe, earlier last week or the week before. So in that situation, he's fine. But that's the only one that I know about right now. Sherwood, are you the Liverpool fan or is it objectivity? I can't recall. Like how you guys explain that today. All right, let me get a look at the field events in the mid test one. No, I don't know. Actually don't recall if there's been some type of a resolution on that. I have to look again because that's a USADA case. We have to check that. We could look into that. I don't remember. I know the Bracy one obviously is done. He got that 4 to 5 month uh for whereabouts and for taking something. Could have been more, obviously. And he's now off to enhance games. I want to take a look at the long jump that's in progress. Let's see where is that. They're going into the sixth round. It seems like Monet Nichols is still in the lead with 664. Jasmine Moore 657 and Claire Bryan 651. Those are the top three. Not bad. Not outrageously great either. Yapachina had a good jump earlier already this year with a 690. It was a 693, I believe. But for an outing here, it's not bad. Let's see what happens in the fifth and final round here in the long jump. Yeah. All right. Sherwood is like, no need to rub it in. Liverpool lost the game. I mean, I was watching it, you know. The question is, what was Van Dijk doing? But I'm not rubbing it in. I mean, as a United fan, no, I can't rub anything in. It's not a good place to be. Oh yeah, I was mixing you up objectivity with Sherwood. I think Sherwood is a Liverpool fan, so I remember somebody is. So yeah, Anna Hall here also doing. They're showing Anna Hall on TV now, but she's way down in fifth at 599, and Ruth Osoru, they're from Nigeria, 593 as well. And I think Hall is also gonna run a bit later. She'll be in, if I'm not mistaken, she might be listed for, what is she listed for? Is it the women's three? She's in something later. I think she might be in the 400. Yeah, she's listed for the women's 400 later. Anna Hall, who had a fabulous season last year, one of the very best all-time great performances in terms of points early in the season too, and also making sure that she ended the World Championship with a gold medal. And no one quite that close to that Jackie Joyner Kersey record. I don't think we'll see it in our life. Well, we might see it in our lifetime, but Hall had a fabulous year last year, and we're doing a couple events here at New Balance. I think they're now turned their attention on television to the final round of the women's long jump, so we'll at least get to see some of those jumps. And then coming up in about 313 will be the men's 400 meters. We'll feature Quincy Wilson, Caleb McCray rather, Goodwin, Elijah there from the United States, and Blockberger and Latin. So should be an interesting race. So it looks like Nichols up first in the long jump. I haven't seen any of the jumps yet, so let's see if we can get something here. Well, Wilson, interesting kid, decided to go to college, which I'm happy about. But, it's an interesting kind of a setup anyway, because nowadays with with NIL and also athletic payment in college now, so not only NIL, it makes sense that the athletes can they should go to college if they want to. It's not like they're missing out on real money. So Nichols there just jumped 636. So didn't do anything. She's still in the lead with 64 from her first round jump. And Jasmine Moore, also a lovely athlete, lovely two jumper. You gotta like her a lot. Let's see what she can do here. Looks decent, but it's a terrible angle here. The camera guys are giving us. So how should we can't see this without a side on angle. No idea. Looks like 648 coming through on the screen. So that also is not an improvement. So she's still in second position. Yeah. Jules, what's going on? Jules 87. How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you? Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everybody. Appreciate everybody coming through. We've been, doing a little bit of a watch along as usual. We love to do those because we'll be watching them anyway. So it's always good to have the community of people who want to talk track and field. I was watching a little bit of track and field. I saw on a screen. I think the Herb McKinley or Herb McKinley Wint meet is going on. So I was trying to take a look at that too. I'll probably watch some more of that later. I always try to keep up with what's going on down there. Claire Bryant here on our final jump. Not an improvement either. 630. So she's still in third position. So the top three is still the same, unless we get a big jump from Tobias Hall and Osoru there from Nigeria. I don't think the positions will change. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, actually, it's just the top three who jump. Sorry. So yeah, that's the end of the women's long jump. 664 for Nichols, 657 for Moore, and Brian 651. So next on the track would be men's 400 meters. What should we expect here? Do you think we get a sub 45? Not quite sure. That might be pushing it tonight. Might be pushing it. But Wilson's been running quite a few races this already for his high school. Some 500 meters. I think I saw him a couple of times over. I think he's going to push here. Really ran well last year, 44.10, I believe. Thought he would have made the U.S. team given what happened in terms of a lot of those athletes were injured last year, but it didn't quite work out when he got to Oregon. Looked really rusty in the opening round, and it was basically the end for him. I think there's also an interview or a little bit of a feature on him in the Washington Post. I think I saw part of it too. Looked like they, try to keep him on a level playing field. His head not bloated, because it's hard for athletes this young not to realize that stardom can. It's good, but it could also ruin you if you don't take it. If you don't have people around you to support him. And I think he has the right kind of backing. So let's see how he transition. I'm sure what we should expect from Wilson in terms of what his ceiling is, but 44.10 at what it was 15 last year, 16, big run. But he's running really wild there. I think it's Godwin is trying to push towards the lane one there, but Wilson was coming. I think he came in on third there, but he's working really hard. He's into second there, but McRae is stretching this. He's looking like a man inspired coming on the top of the bend. Wilson's fighting hard, but he does not have anything to catch him. And McRae wins this comfortably, 45-38 ahead of Quincy Wilson. And I think it's Elijah Godwin there for third. So 45-38, 45-96 for Wilson. It's a good run for the lad. I think it was he wanted to come off the first 200 ahead. He was working hard, but he just didn't have he didn't have it in his legs to come over and get that pole position coming around. And so he had to work really, really hard. Form wise, Wilson out of it, head rocking back. He's a bit of a swimming there. So there's a lot of work to be done. But second place for the youngster. All right, I'm going to get back to some comments here in a second. Objectivity says, does Janelle Smith have a shoe sponsor? It appears she does. I don't think she does. I'll have to check. I'm not. I actually don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, it it would be pretty hard for her to pick up a shoe sponsor at this age, to be honest with you, if she doesn't have one. Right? She'll have to win something. Uh, it's not so easy to get these sponsors, and you got to look for outside of the traditional sponsors too, potentially, because it's tough, and sneaker sales worldwide, I think, have been challenging too. So I don't know. I don't think she has a has a shoe sponsor. Let's see. Yeah, she does. I'm checking her, like, her social media. She's not even. Yeah, she doesn't say any kind of association with any company. So we shall see. But when was she born? 96. So I would be shocked if she could pull off a sponsor right now. It would require her to do something special this year. And she started her year really well, running indoors. Can she go to the World Indoor Championships and get a medal, or even win some? If she could win the 60 meters at the World Indoor Championships in March, that could be a start. Maybe go to the Commonwealth Games, perhaps. But if you don't have one right now, it's tough. I know Megan got one recently, which most people think is outside of the box given her age as well. So I don't know. Yeah. Objectivity says, I think Wilson is at or very close to his ceiling, not a popular opinion. Yeah, I know you and I have discussed this before. It's a good question, right? It's hard to know. There has been reports that he's worked a lot to get to this point and perhaps overworked. But you look at him and he still hasn't really put on a big physique and anything like that. So he's grown. He's a little bit bigger, but he's a young kid. So I don't think his body, as far as I understand, too. What's the coach name? Jolie, I think, or something like that. They still haven't really. He's not lifting in any kind of capacity for a 400-meter program at the very elite level. So if he's run 44, if he's run 44:10 last year, that if he can do that again, even if he can say that's where he is, right? Like low 44s, and he can consistently run low 44s as he gets older. That still is a career that could potentially get him on a medal podium in an odd year, or get to a world championships or Olympic games in an odd year for the United States. It's not a safe position, but that we'll see. 60 meters on track. I definitely want to see Brianna Liston here. I'm looking at a good shot of Dina Asher Smith, who's doing a little bit of round robbing with her coaching, but we'll see. Oh, so she's with Puma. I don't know. Yeah, Objectivity says he thinks she's with Puma. Perhaps I didn't see it on her. She might be, but usually they say Puma athlete or Nike athlete, but unless this is an old social media thing, I'm not sure. But if she's with Puma, then thanks for clarifying that. NJB Paul says, good day, everyone. I saw on YouTube Elijah Goodbye is back in training. Yeah, he's looking good. He looked decent today. 46-43. We'll see what we get. Speaking of sponsor, Daniel Roberts is back with Nike, according to Sherwood. And Dynams, can Quincy Wilson be successful professionally with that running form? I don't think that running form can be. That's a problem. right? He's like swimming, but he's 16. I think the reason why he's doing that is because his core is not strong enough and he has to do some more work, but that's just my guess. Let's see what we get here in the 60 meters. This should be good. Good to see Brianna Liston too on the track. Have a lot of high hopes for her, talent wise, ridiculously talented. If she can stay healthy, maybe she can do something. Asha Smith, we saw last week as well. So she's had a run out. So clean start there. Dean Asher Smith looking really good, really opening up there. Brianna Liston right beside her, but Asher Smith wins this comfortably. Liston there, head down a little bit longer than I would want, but not bad. 7.08 there for Dean Asher Smith. Good run out. Brianna Liston 7:11, and Leah Bertrand there out of Trinidad and Tobago 7:32. It was a Asher Smith Liston show, a bit of an Asher Smith show rather, with a Liston right behind her, and then everybody else in the pack. Bertram there running hard to close to make sure that she got that third position. But it's good to see Brianna Liston there. No strapping as far as I can see. Let's look at it again. There's nothing on the back of the leg. And that, if that's an indication of anything, we'd love to see her, because I think Brianna Liston, if Lance can do the thing correctly, if they can get her to be physically strong, to manage a proper program, she could do some real damage over 100 and 200 meters. Honestly, one of the great talents that I've seen in a very, very long time. And always injured at LSU, unfortunately. Cut her collegiate career short. Now a professional athlete. Let's see if they can solve this, because if I tell you, if Liston gets this right, I think she's a 21-6 athlete or even better. But we have to wait. Dynamics says, good run for Dina. Excellent. Yeah, running. I think she ran last week too, this week again. She looks good. Physically, she looks good. Not 100% lean yet, but it's early season, but she's looking good. Interesting. You got to wonder what Dina wants the rest of the career to look like. I don't know. She moved around. She left Coach Flo, went back to London, and most people didn't even realize that she had left. It was like a surprise to many people. I remember talking to some people at Athletics Weekly, and they're like, it's only when they saw her, when she mentioned the thing in the post race at the Diamond League, that they realized that she had moved away. And now she's back, so we'll see. Yeah. Dynamic says it's a fast. If they said NBC was the fastest 60 meters since 2023, her fastest 60 meters. Yeah. Objective says Liston is a talent. She's part of my dream team sweep for 2028. Yeah, the dream team sweep. Do I want to know where the sweep is coming from? But very talented athlete, had a really good junior career, was on that beautiful under 20 Jamaica team that broke the 4x1 world record. Was she on it twice? There was a record that was not ratified, and then there was another one. But anyway, Liston got a lot of time for her. I don't want to put pressure or anything like that, but I think Liston is closer to Elaine than anything that we've had in a while. So if they can really, in talent-wise, and if they can really get her going, because for her to stay healthy and then to respond to the level of training that they'll put her through, if she can do that, I imagine she'll be fabulous. Dynamics was saying, yeah, I was hoping Lewis Johnson would ask Dino what's the layout plan for the next 3 years. She's in the latter half of her career. It is. You got to think about it. You know, think about Amy Hunt in Great Britain coming through earlier than the expectation in terms of her progress. So she's shining a bit earlier. So is that Noah Lyles? Oh yeah, he looks a little bit chunky, but I want to know what is he saying. Let me put on the subtitles. But anyway, someone will tell me. But yeah, back to Asha Smith. Yeah, the competitive landscape in Great Britain might change things, but I suspect she should be able to. I think her goal is to finish at the LA Olympics. I don't know what that might look like. I don't know what. Yeah, this is a new season for her, a new coach again. So we will see what happens there. Yeah. Sherwood says we will see how the seasons play out. Dina always flatters to deceive. Yeah, it's been a challenge for her. You know, broke on obviously 2019, also on a medal podium in was it in Oregon? Yeah, and I think she was on course in my mind to do something special in 21 in Tokyo. Not win, but I believe she would have been able to challenge for medals. And unfortunately, she got that hamstring injury and it just never happened. And it took a while, left a long time coach, went to Flow, left Flow, came back, and now she's in a new setup again in the States. So we'll see. 60-meter men on track. Akeem Blake, fresh off of his new deal here with On Sports. And so let's see what we get here. Terrence Jones in the mix, Jordan Anthony, Udodi there from Nigeria. But I expect Akeem Blake to take this. It's if he can get a bullet start, it should be good. Maybe, you know, I'd love to see something in the 6'5" lows or even sub 6'5s. I'm not. Oh, lovely start there from Blake there, and he's opening up on the rest of them, and he's gonna win this. A little bit of close there from Benitez, is that? But it looks like Blake that takes that, and Benitez there coming in for second. So 6:53 is the time there for Akeem Blake. In the end, looking comfortable, but Eloy there, Benitez from Puerto Rico, with a really good close, 6:56 ahead of Jordan Anthony, 6:57. Terrence Jones from the Bahamas. I have a lot of time for Jones too. I think if he can stay healthy, he can also do something. 6:60 for Jones there. Yeah. New sponsor, you win, can't complain. So 6:53, 6:56. Oh, I did. So my producer just says Noah Lyles was saying he's not scared of anyone running. The 400, 300, or 60 mentions he's getting married in April. And and he's like same old arrogant attitude. I'll take his word for it. Very very good run there from Akeem Blake, looking sharp. I think Blake has to do a lot of work on the second part of his race, especially if he intends to make these Jamaica teams, because it's not going to be easy to make the Jamaica team of 100 meters. You think about it, oblique Seville, not sure how many people are going to beat him. Kishane Thompson. And when you think about Brian Lavelle, I think those three are going to put their hands up year in, year out, in a major championship year rather, for spots. And a guy like Akeem Blake should be running consistently 9.8s, potentially low 9.8s as well. He has the ability, but as we've seen in especially last year. I thought from about maybe 60 to 80 he was struggling a lot, and then there was not much after that. So there's a lot of work they need to do there to ensure that he's amongst the mix there. But you have to like it that in general the space for the Jamaican sprinting, at least the quartet there looks fairly decent. Yeah. Let me get back to some uh comments here. Yeah, I missed this from Objectivity. She's part of that world record for sure. Objectivity says Noah says he's getting married on 4/4/26. Well, congratulations to him. I suspect that's going to be a media affair, because he lives part of his life in the media, which I guess is fine. Astro 2024 says, I need to find Akeem's barber. Don't we all, Yeah, well, I can't say that out loud, but my barber might be upset. Uh, I don't think she is, though. Paulette, how are you doing? Blessings to you as well. Dynamic says, great run, Akeem. First half is never the issue. Got to fix that second half orders. Exactly. That's the same thing I was saying there uh, before I checked your comments. That's where all the work needs to be done. I would suspect that I'd love to see Akeem Blake run a bunch of 200s this year. You know, just run 200s for me. A lot of them are some 150s. There's some specialized 150s in competitive environment, and I want them in competitive environment not because they're not doing over distance training and work in training, but that's you. They always do that. The question is, I want to see when you buy how you feel when other athletes are upon you. So I'd love for him to start. If he can get a flat 150 or a 150 on the curve, and just go after some 200 meters. Like, what's the big deal this year? Does he want to go to Commonwealth? I suspect he might want to. That might be a place for him. I don't necessarily think Thompson or Oblique will be pushing to go to Commonwealth. So I don't know this to be a fact, but I'm not 100%. I'm not 100% sure that they would be interested to just go to the Commonwealth. So that might be a space for him. But I would say run some 200s because I would love to see. He ran one, well, maybe one or two last year, but run more of them. Perhaps that could do something there as well. Sherwood said this is a make or break season for Blake. He has to show something this season. I think he needs a new camp. He's given Freighter more than his fair chance. This is an interesting one. Where do you think he should go? And sometimes the grass, as they say, is not always greener, but sometimes you have to change to as well if you want to challenge yourself. It's a good question. Dynamic says, hope Akeem does more 200. Thanks for everybody for coming through. Thanks for liking the video. Dynamics, if you look at history of the men's 100, most world and Olympic champions run both 100 and 200 in some form. Yeah, I get it, but they don't always run it consistently. But I don't, Maurice never ran a lot, but there's a year that Maurice did run the double. Donovan as well. But it's true, there's obviously the great man does it. Blake did it. A lot of Carl used to do it too. Linford didn't, yeah. I'm trying to think. You go back in the 70s. Yeah, all the guys in the 80s and 70s would have been doubling a lot too. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I think for an athlete like him, I think that's where he wants to be. It's the same as we've been saying about even for Kishane Thompson. I'd love to see him run a lot, some 200s. I understand maybe why he did, but yeah. He did. Oh yeah, let's see. He did run. Yeah, I apologize on that. Yeah, Linford did run some of that too. Yeah. Sherwood says, "Do you guys think Blake has been improving?" I don't know. It's hard to say. It's like a 50 meter. It's a 60-meter race. With my judge, the game. I think Blake should go. I think he's trying to run a proper indoor season. There's money to be had going to these indoor meets this season. There's certainly money. There's certainly uh, medals to be had at the World Indoor Championships. And then there's Diamond League, right? You know, he's no stranger to running a lot of Diamond League, but perhaps I like to see him run. He doesn't have to run super fast this year, to be honest with you. I just want to see the difference in the latter stages of the race. If he does that, uh, then it might do well for him next year. So, women's 400-meter final on track right now. Anna Hall, fresh off of the long jump, we'll see uh, what she can do here. Jurgen as well from Great Britain, Paris Peoples, and Amy Piccolo. Yeah. So only 4 athletes here. I think lane one is empty. Who was supposed to be in lane one? Was it Maloney? I remember. Let me check my earlier notes. Yeah, it was Maloney. She's not there. Yeah. And I'll get back to these comments after this race here. It's kind of clean start. Let's see if they'll push to get to. A big bank there for Jurgen. They're running really well there. But Anna Hall now stepping through. I think she's going to come across just slightly ahead at 200 meters there. Yeah, 24 and change there. So Hall in the lead ahead of the athlete from Great Britain. But she's swimming a little bit for my liking. And also People's in the mix too, running a bit wide. But Hall's still in the lead here. But she's stretching a little bit for my liking. I don't think she has enough in the tank to hold us off here. She's going to get past. And so Jurgen there from Great Britain coming through and takes her in the last couple of steps. 52.64, nothing special. 52.63, the corrected time. Hall 52.77, Peoples 53.30, and Piccolo 56.68. Not particularly fast, but good running there from Jurgen. Let me get back to these comments that I missed out here. Dynamics was saying it's hard to tell. Indoor is a speciality. We won't see improvements until outdoors. Last season, many expected improvement, but he stayed stagnant. I agree on that. Objectivist says, here's another unpopular opinion for me. Blake is close to his ceiling as well. Perhaps if his ceiling is 9.8, then okay. But he has to consistently deliver them. He has to go back to back on those, right? Or if he can do that in a 90-minute period, then I think he can hold his hand up. I think that would be useful. That could get into semifinals for sure. It could get into a final depending on how fast guys are running. For me, he should be competing to make teams and also pushing into trying to get into some finals of major championships if he makes those teams. But perhaps you're right. But either way, you want him to be in the 9.8 shape at least, because that would be useful on a relay. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, he didn't show improvement last year, stayed stagnant after 2023. Expected to see some improvement in 2024 and 25. He should be a consistent 9.8 guy. I agree. Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that you mean that she's part of the scene of 4x1 objectivity? What's going on here? We can't even think that far. You're thinking about a world record in LA 2028 in the 4x1. I don't know. I mean, we've seen great. I mean, I will say the Jamaica team has underperformed from a from what you could perceive as a foot speed thing, right? Foot speed we know is not that is not the thing for relays, but when we look at the likes of what we've had in the last how many years, it's in Tokyo we should have broken the world record. We didn't, there's years we should have won and didn't, we could say that in Oregon too. We could say that in many places. So I would love to see it, but I think I can't think that far like you. I just can't think that far yet. Uh, let's see where we are here. There's some agreement here with some earlier comments. So yeah, hopefully everybody's doing well. We're gonna get one of those odd races coming up on the track soon. Men's 2,000 meter. Grant Fisher is there. Jake Whiteman, Hobbs Kessler. That should be an interesting race. To think through 2,000 meters is it's not always straightforward for me. I don't. Those races they don't normally run them all the time. So we'll see what we get there. Hopefully there's some. I think Fisher was saying that he's in great shape, but the class of athletes out there would suggest that we could get something decent. I don't even recall what's the world leading time for that. I have to check that. This year, is it 2,000 or 3,000 meters of the ring? Yeah. Yeah, so we have like 5 minutes. This might be a French athlete did a 5 minute earlier this year. So I expect sub 5 for sure because given the quality athletes here, but I didn't preview this properly enough, so I'll have to think while I check some comments. Objective says I want the women world record training camp starting this year. Yeah. Look, my suspicion is that by the end of this year, both Clayton twins will consistently run 10.7s. I assume if they want that to happen. The challenge is the bar is really high in terms of expectations for fast times. MJW, Melissa Jefferson Wooden, is already in that low 10.6, looking to go 10.5. I think Julian Alfred has to come back and try to get to that space. And so if you're in 10.7s, it's fabulous, but you want to be pushing yourself. So I would imagine by the time we get to World Championships in China, it might be the very best we get from the Clayton twins. Then you would hope by then a Brianna Liston is in great shape. That would be what, 2 seasons by then under the new coaching setup. Who knows? I don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, we can't even think that far. How would we even like what would be the composition of a team like that? You would think, right? Who's in the mix? Are we starting to think about Alana Reed? Would she be in top shape by then, or where's Brianna Williams? Or would she feature somehow? Or would we be expecting Jackson to still be around and contributing? I don't know. I think we're in a transition period, but yeah, you have a dream. Like I do. Look, I would be the first to tell you that would, if that were to pan out, it would be great thing. So Jay Whiteman there, great season last year. I'm not sure we thought he would be back on the podium. We were more thinking of his countryman. He struggled with some injuries, but he's back. Silver medal last year over 1,500 meters. So 2,000 meters here is going to be interesting. A bunch of guys here. Let's see what we get. There's Whiteman, Grant Fisher's in the mix, Hobbs Kessler. Should be an interesting run. Fisher, I think, is technically in the lead because I think that both kid might be the pacer. Yeah, he is the pacer. So he did in about 28 and change, but I have to see what Fisher did because it's a big gap there. So it's gonna be a long race here because they gotta go. It's about 14 or 13 laps left there if I'm counting. Yeah, 13 laps left. Yeah. Docker might be interesting there, objectivity. Yeah, she's special. Yeah. You never know. I never worry about the women in Jamaica. They'll come together at the right time. They're always there. It's never a time that you don't get them. It's just that the other two, the Americans are really strong, and obviously Julian Alfred as well. So it's a big kind of a bunch up right here with, I think that's Fisher, then Kessler, Whiteman is still there. Bove is still doing pacing jobs. He will start to. He has to go at some point. I don't know how long he's keeping this. Is he keeping the pace for what, 7 laps or 8 laps? I'm not sure how long he's on duty for. Yeah, he's gonna leave right now off the track. I would imagine he's gonna leave now. He's not leaving. It's a good pace going on right now. We're gonna get. This is really fast running right now. 4 laps left, according to the screen. 3 minutes and change going around here. This could be like 470 if they can keep the space. 4 minutes 70. It's pretty good here. So both still running. I thought he cannot be the pacer. He is running this whole race. Oh, he's gonna leave right now. So he had like up to 3 laps left. He's not coming off the track. Yeah, so Bove is gonna step off the track now. So Grant Fisher is gonna start pushing right now. It's like 2 laps to go at 3:53 and change. This is gonna be quick. This is gonna be super fast. Is he gonna break the world record? This is probably like 460. Because Bekele had the world record at what, like 450, 448 or 449, I can't know. So like he's gonna move this. He's gonna break the world record because this is super fast. He's gonna come around in like 20 something now. He's gonna break the world record. Hobbs Kessler just flew past Grant Fisher. Oh my God. He's gonna destroy them. 448.79. Whoa. That is outrageous. Where did he find that? $448.79, 444.49 from Grant Fisher too. Those two, that's ridiculous running from these. In fact, it's ridiculous running from even Whiteman too. Well, maybe not, but it no, that's crazy. Let me check this all time. I want to look at this all time list again because my memory is all over the place. But that I mean, 2,000 meters is not always the. Let me see, 2,000 meters short track. Yeah, so Bekele ran four. Yeah, it was 4 minutes 49:99 was a world record by Kenny Lisa Bekele, which was a long time ago, like '07. And Lemicha Gurma did one last year. He did 4:51:23 because well, not last year, in 2024. I remember watching that. That is a outstanding running there from all of these guys because Grant Fisher here at 4:49:48 is ridiculous running for Grant Fisher as well. Absolutely ridiculous running. 4:40, yeah. So Fisher here underneath the old world record as well. And Hobbs Kessler just obliterated that. It's crazy running. And I have to think like even the Belgium athlete, six, if I'm pronouncing that, 4:52 is really good running. Whiteman two at 4:53. I think that's outstanding running, especially. I mean, we don't always run the 2,000, but it's really good times when you look at the all-time list in terms of in being in the mix there. But what Hobbs Kessler just did there is truly outstanding. I'll get back to the comments. Sorry, Dynamics call it. He says Hobbs is going to outkick Fisher. Yeah, he did. Look at that. Anyway, we're in this kind of space of these distance guys changing the game in every kind of capacity. This is big running. Well, we got a world record. I didn't go outstanding. I was more stunned at it because I was doing the back of the hand calculation and at least with 3 laps to go, and I thought they were going to run like 4:70, which would still be outstanding running. Or I mean, actually, I mean like 4:4. Like not 4. Yeah, but it's crazy. Anyway, Dynamics has been really a good meet. No, it's been special so far. We have women's 3,000 to come up in a minute or in 3 minutes. Then the 800-meter for men with Josh Howie. I think that's going to be good. Let's see what we see from Howie. Howie last year had a fabulous season, but didn't quite work out at the end when it got to the outdoor. Maybe some would say he may have run too good indoors. It's hard to say. That 142 there. And also world indoor champion last year. His brother is running as well. I don't know what he'll start out with, but it's going to be great. And then we'll end the night with that 300 meters that features Jeremy Richards, Vernon Norwood, Trayvon Brummel, who I don't think he's run a 300 meters ever indoor. And then Noah Lyles. Lyles ran last week as well, so we'll see. Oh yeah, Dynamics. Hawkeye had set the record yesterday. It didn't last 24 hours. In what yesterday? Maybe I mistake. Yeah, so women's 3,000 is coming. I got Ella St. Pierre there, Jessica Hall, Lyndon Hall, Mackay there too. Just looking at some of the names here. Should be a good race for women's 3000 here. Yeah, we'll see what we get. I mean, can we get something on the what? 8:30. I don't know. Oh, you meant the American record? Yeah, yes. Yeah. The 4:52. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, this is gonna be a good race, I think. Let's see what kind of shape Jessica Hull is in. Saint Pierre should be a good race. I don't know what we'll get. Maybe if we can get something like 8:25, I'll be happy. It would be really good running. 8:20 would be nice, but I don't know what kind of shape these ladies are in. All right, let's see what we get from Jess Hull. All right, they're gonna be off in a second. Probably got to pay attention if I'm gonna know what's going on. All right, so there's a kind of a waterfall start as usual because there's a bunch of them. I don't know what they set the wave light on, to be honest with you. If it's I don't know if it's the meet record or what, but let's see what we get at about. We can start sizing up how fast it's going to look probably when we get to 1,000 meters or so, and then we'll see. We can start doing some back of the envelope calculations, but they're all now in a big line. Everybody in lane one, and yeah, we'll just wait to see. So Parker is running the pace, I believe. She's in in first position right now. Everybody's with the lights. I don't know what the lights is set for, the wave light that is. But there's Hull there, Pier, Lindell Hall too. So yeah, so there's a little bit of a separation now between Hull and St. Pierre, along with the pacer. Maybe about a 15-meter gap or so. Well, not that quite. Sorry, like about 10-meter. So after you go up that banking, they're going down. So we'll see. I think we got some polls going on the channel as well. So well, will you look at that? Ferdinand, my man. Happy New Year. How you doing? It's a great year for sports for South Africa too. A couple days ago, I watched West Indies under 19 with South Africa there. I thought you guys were going to win that. And then the Windies had a tremendous spell of bowling there from Bell and Laws. Yeah. Ferdinand is saying, "Go Jessica Hull. She looked good at cross country." Yeah, I was traveling during the cross country thing the other day in, was it Florida? So I didn't get a chance to even spend time watching it. Yeah, but this should be good now. Let's see. I want to see what the splits are going to look like in a second here. If we can get anything, What was the thousand? What was the 1,000 meter split? Let's see. The 1,000 meter split was about 250 from just Hull there. That's pretty decent. I mean, it's not world class. You would want something under 250 for that. It's above the top end of what you would think would be great great pacing. So we got still got to wait to see. Yeah, yeah. No, no, it's always good to see under 19 because the senior cricket isn't doing much. We'll see what happens in T20 World Cup. But so they're pushing right now. 8 laps to go on my screen. Just above 4 minutes there. That's not bad running. They're now back with the lights. I think they've kicked the pace up a bit. I want to see the 2,000 meter time. So it's like a massive separation there with Jessica Hull, St. Pierre, and Lindell Hall, and the rest of the track. It's a massive, big gap there. You have to think the the places are gonna go to these top three because I don't think Mackay can catch them back again. She'll have to work really hard. But Hull looks really good upright. You just look how she's bouncing on the track right there. Really nice running there from her. Ellison Pierre right behind her as well, just same as Lyndall Hall. But 2,000 meter splits are around 5:39. That's actually decent running there, to be honest with you. Really decent running. Uh, a little bit less tactical in my book because it's like those three out there in the rest. So definitely this pace is a bit too hot for most of the field. It's not bad running at all. Yeah. 5:39 is good. Yeah. I mean, it's not world class. It won't break any records, I don't think, but it, it's good running. Oh, Sam Root, yeah, that kid is special. Ferdinand, I don't know what his ceiling is, but yeah, we kind of talked a little bit about it earlier. I haven't seen the full race to be honest. I just saw the ending of it, but last year he broke the world record too at 15, the age group, and now he's back again. Him, Cameron here as well, running really well. The Aussie kid. So some good stuff happening with these teenagers. The distances are, as you know, are a lot of times are being pulled up in different ways. Ellison Pierre, they're still behind Jess Hull, but I think Hull looks a little sluggish now. Will St. Pierre come for her right now? Excuse me. So a few laps left. What, 650 there, or six, just a little bit on a 650. Ellison Pierre now decides to take it out. And also, does Lindell Hall go ahead of Jessica Hall? Jessica Hall looks like she's struggling a little bit there. Maybe she kept that pace a little bit too hot. So Hall is going just behind Ellison Pierre here. And you have to like how Lyndon Hall is looking right now. She's stepping nice, still upright here. St. Pierre, the stride pattern a little bit too long for me, at least where the back leg is going. But that could be just an optical illusion. I think Hall has a kick in her. There's definitely a kick in her here. And she's going ahead of her. So it's Hall ahead of St. Pierre and Hull, who is now in a distant third. And then you can't see the rest of the field. It's gonna be a good run here. It's not gonna be a quite 8:20 run, but it's probably gonna be. It's gonna definitely be less than 8:30. I would say maybe 8:27 or so. Might be given how much time left. Oh, and Sinclair is Ellison is not Sinclair. St. Pierre here again finds the kick, and she goes ahead of Lindell Hall. I thought Pierre was done, but that's a good kick there from Ellison Pierre. World leading time. What's the time? 8:26:54. So kind of around where I thought it was gonna be. 8:27:03 for Lindell Hall, personal best, and Jessica Hall 8:36. That's a good move there initially from Ellison Pierre. Then our legs were looking a little bit too long, like almost like the backlift was a little bit too much. And then Hall starts the motor, go ahead of her, and I thought it was over. But it wasn't. Ellison Pierre, they're looking strong, finishing really well. Enough time to celebrate before going over the line. 8:26:54, world leading time over 3,000 meters. 8:27:03, 8:36:03, and then Mackay coming in fourth at 8:38. So great separation there. I'll get back to you in a second there, Ferdinand. You're saying St. Pierre beat Hull at World Indoors before. Yeah. Sam broke 1K age group about 2 weeks ago, but I hear United States Track and Field is going for him. Going for him. Really? I haven't heard that. Why would you want to change allegiance? I'm sure he's gonna get a lot of time in a lot of spotlight rather in New Zealand. When is the 300-meter race with Lyles? That is coming up in at 4:23. So in another, what time is it now? It's like 4:08. So the next thing on the track will be the men's 800 meters. That's gonna come up in about 5 minutes or so, and featuring Josh Howie for sure. And then following that, you'll have the men's 3,000, the 300 meters rather. That should be a cracker. Ferdinand says, "Well done, Saint Pierre." Yeah, that was a good run. I thought she was done when Hall made the kick, right? But she came back, so she's looking good, looking really good. All right, sorry about that. I was just checking a message from my wife. All right, so only two more races to go. I don't know what we'll get from the likes of Josh Howie in the 800 meters, but that would be good. Unfortunately, I don't. Yeah, I don't do it. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't. It's copyright stuff. I don't know where else you can watch it. I don't know where you are. If you're in the United States, it's available on NBC, on regular TV, or on their streaming platform, Peacock. Yeah. And for the rest of the world, I'm not sure. Perhaps if you have a VPN, you might be able to watch it on. I don't know if World Athletics is streaming it. I have no idea. All right, so we're looking forward to the men's 800 meters in about 3 minutes time. That should be a good run. I'm not quite sure what we'll get. Last year, obviously, Josh Howie ran that ridiculous time What did he run last year? 143.2, right? 143.24, I believe, which was like the fastest time we had seen since the great Wilson Kipketer, uh, since '97. So that kind of pushed Howie up in a special place, and a lot of us thought he was going to do some big things in the outdoor season, which it turned out that the U.S. National Championship was much harder than than we thought. But we'll see what we'll get on from the 800 meters in a second. They're doing a little bit of the athletes are being introduced right now. It looks like lights off in the stadium. But it's been good running so far this season in 800 meters. I think Mark English there, the Irish guy, ran a really good time, 144.65. I believe that was a PB for him or Irish national record. And so that's the fastest time in the world this year. We might get something faster if Josh Howe is in any kind of shape, but we'll have to wait to see. Uh, yeah, thanks for that dynamics. Yeah. Miyamoto there, they're showing coming through the Japanese athlete there. Let's see, where's the lineup again? So it's Miyamoto, Ryan Clark from the Netherlands, uh, Josh Howie, Jackson Howie, and Ostrowiecki there from Poland. Yeah, I have no idea if I just butchered that. What's that? Ostrowski or yeah, who knows? These Polish names sometimes throw you for a loop. All right, I'm gonna be intrigued to see what we got from Josh Howie because he last year he did something super special. He looks a little bit more muscular too, right? Which is saying much for 800-meter guys. Okay, they're just showing highlights of the World Indoor Championship last year where Howie won in Nanjing, China. All right. So last year when this kid ran, we saw something super special. 143.24 in New York. The world record is 142.67. I don't think that's on the table, but you never know. All right, no, so they're going across now. So his Howie ahead of Howie, it looks like. They're ahead of the lights, at least the pacer is. Josh Howe is just on the lights right now, and he's pushing. He's really pushing right now. He's doing that like what, 50, almost 50-21, I think, for 800 meters here. That's pretty good. This is super fast. Josh Howe is on world. He's ahead of the world record. He is ahead of the world record right now. You cannot be serious. You cannot be serious. He is breaking the world record. He's gonna break the world record. He's ahead of the lights. He's doing 1:16:19 at 600 meters. He's gonna break the world record. Oh my God. A world record that was before he was born. He is motoring right now. Will he do it? 1:42:51. Josh Howard is the world record holder over 800 meters indoor. Amazing. I didn't think this was possible tonight. Well, I actually had nothing to compare it to. Outrageous running. 1:52:50. His brother there hugging him, took it out hard for him as the pacer. And look at that run from Josh Howie. March 9th, 1997, the great Wilson Kipketer, former world record holder over both indoor and outdoor, 1:42:67. And January 24th, 2026, Josh Howie rewrote history. That is a massive run from the man from the United States. 1:52:50. Ridiculous. I don't know if we understand what we just saw here. To run 150 to 142 rather, what am I saying? To run 1:42:50 outdoors would be, you would be hugging everybody. You got to think about a 200-meter track, the banking. This year, obviously, they have a longer period to cut over, so it's a less chaotic. I don't know if that helps, but to just push your body to run like that this early, and you have to think he might be disappointed from last season in terms of how it ended at the end, but I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. But maybe we should, because we saw 1:43 last year. Dynamics is world record. Objectives, where is the meet being? It's in Boston, so it's not an altitude thing. Yeah. If it was in New Mexico, it would be different, but it's Boston. Plus, yeah, it is great. That's really, really good running there. You just see what the rest of them had. Like the Polish athlete at 1:44:68, which is a PB for him. Ryan Clark from the Netherlands, 1:44:72 national record. Those are some great times there. And Miyamoto there running 1:52:08 for PB. Not much to talk about there, but he did get his personal best. I just think about it. 1:42:50. It's crazy. I don't know. It's just an indoor track. I mean, it's not. It has an you got to go up a little bit on it, but it's not particularly difficult from what I understand. They just redid the surface. Was it 2 years ago or last year? So the whole facility there in Boston was is really nice stuff there, but outrageous running there. I think let me check this. 24:81 at 200 and 50:21 at 400, which is faster than I think what Kipketer had on his world record. It may not by much. If I could find the data on that, I have to look at the data for that. And 1:16:19 at 600. Then he comes home at 1:42:50. So that's 26:31. That is outstanding running. Let's see what happens for the end of the season. Obviously, athlete like Josh Howie this year has nothing to do from an outdoor perspective. If in no major championship, so he can run sparingly, probably get down into some good times outdoors. Try to maybe win Diamond League if you want. The 800 meters obviously is one of the hardest things in all of track and field right now. So you never know. That's crazy. Objectivity goes back, going back to your comment here. I think Noah wants a 300 world record. Well, he wants some world record. I suspect that's the closest one he can get, right? I'm not sure. I last week we saw him. He looked okay. He was trying to pretty much, work the cobwebs out. He ran what 32:39. Is that what he hasn't run a 800 in a long time. Uh, to be honest with you, so I don't know what to say. To break the world record, it's a lot of work. Can he do it? Perhaps he has the ability, but I don't know. Stephen Gardner ran what 31:56, and Lyles did a 31:87 many years ago in New Mexico in altitude. But from what I saw last week, I don't have any indication that he can just move from that to to go to 31 and change, right? He ran at in that meet in Florida in Gainesville, he ran what 32:60. So 32:60. And so to go so just to correct myself, I think it's 32:60. I think I made an error earlier. And so to go to like sub 32, he has to work hard. It's a very talented field. You have the silver medalist, Jerry Richards from the World Championships last year. You have Vernon Norwood there. That's a big time 400-meter runner as well. So he has quality people there. I don't know what Trevon Bommel would do. He doesn't, I don't have any record on him doing anything. So, any 300. So I can't really say. Uh, Objectivity is confirmed. He does look a little chunky. When I saw him last week at that event, he looked as if he had a little bit more muscle on him, or bigger than normal. But it was on a clip, so I wasn't quite sure. Now this is 4K or 1080p. They're pushing, so it looks good. What is Noah Lyles doing? Why is he jumping on top of the thing? Objective is maybe he's testing too much wedding cake. He's going a little bit outrageous for the start of a 300-meter race. Perhaps he's going to be inspired by Josh Howie and run something outrageous. Now that I'm looking at him again, maybe not that chunky, to be honest with you. But all right, let's see what we get. Dean the Dream is saying someone should tell Noah this isn't the WWE. Yeah. It's a clean start there. You have to like what Jerry Richards is doing. He's like clean it up out there as well. Looking good. Now Eliza's running blind. Look at, Jareem Richards is running blind rather. Look how Jareem Richards is working. Lyles is trying to catch him, but also Vernon Norwood. This is going to be a really good race. Lyles is going to be there. Richards. It is Richards who takes it. 32-14 ahead of, I think Richards took it ahead of Lyles. The man from Trinidad and Tobago, giving you the Cristiano Ronaldo move, the Sioux. 32-15 is coming up on my end for Noah Lyles. So it's 32-1 for 32-15. PB for Norwood 32-38. Brummel 35-36. Look at it. Early on, I was saying the same thing to Dynamic. I was thinking Richards, because you think about the strength of Jerome, he's quick as well. He hunt him down. Look at that. Yeah. Lyle's looking a little bit like he's under pressure there at the end. Obviously, it's slow motion, so I can't, it's hard to say. Look at that. Yeah, he ran out of gas, Lyles, that is. And Jerome Richards found a way. Dean the Dream Noah should save some of that energy on the walkout. You guys are killing Noah today. Objectivity says, I wonder if Noah had go. He's trying to get me into some trouble there. Noah Lyles came out as if it mattered. He needed something. He's inside of the. Why is he standing beside Jerome Richards for this interview? Let me see what he's saying here. I think Richards was saying like he sees Noah every day, so I brought out the best of him. I think if I'm paraphrasing that. Lyle says he's here to give the crowd what they want. What they want is entertainment. He says if he doesn't win every time, it means that the other guy's a true champion. I don't know. No one needs to just. I mean, he's a showman. You know, I don't know what to say. He's a showman for sure. So 32-14 for Richards. Really good time. Lyle's also 32-15. It's really fast time there. Not quite world record pace for any of these guys. Yeah. Better dipping there from Jerome Richards. I think at that moment, Lyles ran out of gas. I don't think he was checking to his right to see if. I don't think he could have hold on. He probably had not. He didn't have much there. Yeah. Big run there. This was a fabulous meet, guys. You have to think the best performance of the night, that Josh Howie won 42-50, breaking Wilson Kipketer's world record from all the way back in 1997. The great man, Kipketer, truly one of the all-time greats. You know, some think he's still the greatest. Obviously, he doesn't have the world records anymore, but you know, we know how world records are made to be broken. Special athlete there. That is good. Elicent Pier there also doing a lovely 3,000-meter race there, 8:26:54. You have to love it. 2 times she had to come back to take the lead, and it was good. Danielle Williams, as they show a clip of her early, winning that 60-meter hurdles. You know, Akeem Blake winning the 60 meters for men. Yeah. Some good. This is a fantastic meet. That's what you get at an elite event like that. Dina Hasher-Smith, season best 7:08 ahead of Brianna Listen 7:11. Really good running from a bunch of athletes here. Yeah. Okay, so Sherwood says when you jump up like that, you have to win. Every time he jumps up, he jumps down like that, we know how it ends. Perhaps he needs that energy, you know, he needs that extra thing to get him up there, you know. Dynamic says a great meet. It was a great meet. You know, when I think about that, now that I have some clarity, it's not quite like the World Championships when he claimed that oblique was panicking in the back, but I don't know. Maybe when you get to those highs, you say stuff. But he came out. He was standing on the track just now, and I think Dean the Dream had a comment about the WWE. He really came out as if it was the WWE. That's an appropriate way to do it. But the crowd loved it. It seems like, you know, he likes the lights. But you're right. When you come out like that, when you make a statement, when you tell the crowd to amp it up. You certainly have to win. And he didn't. But he was in the lead for much of it. But Jerry Richards, who's a 400-meter man, a sub 44 man, a guy that has a medal around his neck, a guy who probably deserved a medal in 2024 and couldn't deliver it. He wasn't running against ordinary people there. And you have to like it, really like it. Well, guys, it's been a couple hours that we've been hanging out. This was great. We have some videos on the channel. I think if you missed the live with me and Leighton Levy from Thursday night, it's on the channel. We'll probably spice up a few of that too for, because it was a pretty long live, so we can give you a few things. We'll be getting some things out. Next week is Milrose Games. I'm hoping to do a watch along for that as well. And hopefully in the week, we might be able to do another live show or two. And we're getting to that time. And thanks for saying that. Dynamics, a great life. It's always good to hang out with people. You watch track and field, and you just never know who else is watching. So, that's always good to have a watch along. Hope to see you guys soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe if it's your first time, and appreciate everybody as usual. We'll call it a good day. I'm gonna probably watch some basketball right now, and we'll see you guys next time.